Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. Some kind of star thing. Here we are in the stars doing the thing. We're on episode 208.
Woo!
Holy crap. And we're kicking off season 6 after the big dramatic moment of season 5. Here we are, season 6, kicking it off with a 6-parter. But we're only covering the first 2. Woof! It's gonna be a couple of weeks, guys. So we're covering the first 2 episodes of Season 6, A Time to Stand and Rocks and Shoals. You may remember from last season that I am Ames.
And you may recall from seasons past that I am Caitlin.
This is Jake.
And from TV Guide's coming previews for the new season, this is Chris.
Jake used to have fun with us.
I've been watching so much Simpsons that, my reaction is, I'm Troy McClure. You might recognize me from, The Young and the Restless.
You might recognize me from such podcasts as Episode 207 and Episode 206.
And the president's neck is missing.
You know whose neck isn't missing? Gul Dukat. Let's talk about A Time to Stand. All right, here we go. A Time to Stand. So, when we last saw all of our Starfleet heroes, they were abandoning the space station, and the Dominion were taking it the fuck over. But the very, very last moment, I know I mentioned this last week, the very, very last moment of season 5 was the whole fleet gathering together and the Defiant and the Rotaran joining up. And it looks like we're going to come right on back and attack again with the whole fleet who should have been there from the offing, but Starfleet is a bunch of assholes. And here in season 6, we get to see that all of that went super poorly for the Federation. Poorly. So it starts off where 3 months later, Starfleet casualties have been enormous. And everyone is feeling like, oh crap, we're just all gonna get mowed down. So Admiral Ross shows up and he says, hey Cisco, I'm gonna relieve you of duty because we have a new, dangerous, incredibly bonkers thing we want you to do. And you're into that, right? And Cisco's like, have you been watching this show? Hell yes, I'm into that.
Do I get to poison a planet?
I really want to do all this stuff. By the way, has anyone seen Cassidy Yates in a while? We haven't seen her since Rapture, but oh well. I miss her. I wanted to say that last week, I fucking missed Cassidy because we had everybody else. But oh well, so here's the new, dangerous, completely bonkers thing that Admiral Ross wants Cisco to do. Go destroy a Ketracel White facility where the Jem'Hadar's, supply of Ketracel White exists, and if it doesn't exist, it will get them all killed immediately. And you're gonna go in, flying in the ship. The episode from season 5. And also the ship from the episode in season 5. Back on the station, Kira and Dukat are butting heads when Dukat really wants to be butting something else.
Ugh.
Odo is sitting around like, what even is my point here anymore? The Dominion doesn't let me do anything. Not even break some knees, which the Cardassians let me do.
Hey, good one.
Hey, and Wei Yun is fanboying all over Odo. I swear to God, between scenes, he, passed Kira a note like fucking Shakar did with the whole, does Odo like me, check yes, check no. So Kira kind of nudges Odo to say, you should take advantage of this because he thinks you're a god, and what do we do when people think we're a god?
We tell them we're not.
Yeah, I guess so. Damn it, Odo. So Odo says, all right, I guess I'd like my Bajoran deputies back, and Wei Yun is just blinded by all his love of Odo's mushy fucking face. And he says, okay. And also, will you join my Odo fan club?
I made buttons.
They're so cute. They
love
each other. Wei Yun loves Odo. Odo loves Kira.
Yeah.
So back
Kira loves killing Cardassians.
Seriously. Back on the ship, the episode from season 5. Cisco and Garrick are playing VR games, and they elude a major battle with the Centaur, which I'm not going to describe because we'll get into it later. They go to the Ketracel White facility, and they proceed to sabotage the fuck out of it with a barrel handoff. And my thought was, somewhere Odo is cringing, because barrels.
You mean
Not
Worf?
Odo, Worf. Ruined that joke. Worf.
You want to do a new take, or just leave it as is?
Leave it as is. People get it.
Okay.
Worf is cringing because barrels. They blow the fuck of the whole Ketracel White facility, but they also damage themselves. They damage the fuck out of the ship, the episode from season 5. And Julian, who's augmented, don't you know? And we've decided to really, really fucking embrace the fact that Julian is augmented and make it prevalent in every single fucking scene. He does some spontaneous Vulcan math just to piss off Garrick and says, well, without warp, it'll take us 15 years to get to the nearest Federation station. Whoopsie! End of episode.
Is a Federation station like Conjunction Junction?
It is.
Okay, good.
So I presume, with Worf being off with the Klingons, and Julian now being openly a Vulcan, he must still be acting as intelligence officer.
Worf?
Julian. Remember, because that time Worf was away, they assigned... and that would explain why he's the one that has to deliver the news about the 7th Fleet or whatever.
Here's the thing. Julian's role as chief medical officer is way more important than anything else because, all of Starfleet is broke. All of the Starfleet people are broken in all their parts.
Well, he can do both. He occasionally gets a report.
I want him focused on curing people right now.
Well, it also seems like, the titular ship from the ship...
from season 5.
...is, kind of a ship box and doesn't have medical facilities, so he's...
well, that's probably
having
normal.
to make sick bay out of his quarters.
Yeah, getting used to the ship is kind of hilarious, because O'Brien's complaining that there's no chairs. Someone's complaining...
Nog
is upset about the lack of chairs. O'Brien's upset about the lack of replicators.
The lack of sandwiches.
Yep.
Jadzia doesn't like that there's no view screen. Everyone doesn't like that it's missing all these other things, all these, comforts that the Jem'Hadar just don't have.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd bring some on with them.
Yeah,
well, they don't.
Jadzia will find the next episode that there are worse things than not having a view screen, such as not having a hole in your body.
Spoilers.
Actually, no, I think she gets the hole in this one.
Does she? Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, at least it stopped her bitching about the lack of view screen.
Oh, it is the next one?
It is the next one.
They make it out safely in this one.
Yeah, the cliffhanger at the end of this one is, oh no, the ship won't get us anywhere for 17 years. But,
They understandably blur together a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be all one plot for the next couple of episodes. So, I know, the writing process was chaos. Because they had to split it up between their writers, but it meant they all had to constantly be in communication with each other. Right. Which I guess is just how people do series now, because they're so serialized.
Yeah.
Well, it also seems like, similar to a serialized show from today, not every, episodes tend to focus on different things. And I guess this one, since it was sort of the intro, we kind of got caught up with everybody.
Yeah.
We saw what was happening on DS9. We saw what was happening with Worf, and the main plot here was the ship plot. But I do feel like we'll see in the next episode they don't touch base at all with Worf, and it's mostly split between what we're doing with DS9 people and the people on the ship.
So, the thing that struck me immediately about. I mean, I guess these two episodes in general, but, we're already, the war's been on 3 months, and we're already getting into let's sell out our philosophy territory from Starfleet. Because, the whole plan is, hey, guys, let's genocide the Jem'Hadar. Because, without White, they die. And they die horribly.
They die bad. They take out anyone around them when they die.
Yeah, and then each other, as we find out in the next one. And everyone's just really casual. Not one person goes, oh, this is sort of fucked up.
Well, see, I don't know, though, because, honestly, I think the expectation would be in a normal war that if you took out your enemies, what you want to do in a war is disable your enemy's supply lines, which this is effectively doing.
You'd expect them to pull back, though. The thing with the Jem'Hadar and the Dominion in general is there's nowhere for them to pull back to because the wormhole is covered in bombs.
Right. So I think the idea would be that you force a surrender. So they basically say, okay, well, fuck, we have no Ketracel White. Our soldiers can't fight on without it, and we can't retreat to the wormhole and get more. So we have no fucking choice but to surrender at this point.
Yeah, but then the Gemini will still die.
Yeah.
Well, no, they surrender, then you open the wormhole and say, okay, go back through the wormhole.
Is it how will they open the wormhole? Can Federation take the bombs out? Because I know the Dominion is having all the trouble with it.
I'm sure O'Brien has the fucking password to shut them down.
Oh, maybe.
You know?
That's a good point. I was just thinking that too. Like, they just have a big space, like a vacuum.
Because they're cloaked.
Suck them up with.
They're cloaked, and they automatically replicate whenever you try to take them apart. So they're this magical device that kills everybody if you try to do anything to it.
I was thinking about that, too. It feels like the easiest solution would be, like, surely if enough of them go off at once, they can't possibly manage. So, like, just tractor in a bunch of debris and some asteroids and just fling them all at the minefield at once, and I bet your problem's solved.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I guess the issue is they don't necessarily know where all the mines are.
Right,
that's true, because they're... Yeah, okay. I didn't think of that.
You know, if they all... You know, the other thing, too, is like how close you have to be to a mine for it to detonate.
Yeah, that is also unclear.
Yeah, and then once it detonates, a couple more spring up from the self-replicating thing.
Yeah, okay, that does... All right, that makes it make a lot more sense. Thank you,
what I think would have been good, though, is if instead of only self-replicating to replace exploded mines, that they programmed them to just self-replicate all the time, so that the...
Sounds like the Blob.
Eventually the entire quadrant would be filled with mines.
Say, yeah, you just Grey Gooed yourself some mines.
That was the greatest laugh of all time, Ames.
Yes, I'm glad.
Well, because
where did they get the material to self-replicate?
They must just have it inside of them.
That doesn't make any sense.
They have little Bussard collectors.
Oh, unless it's subspace, where Odo shunts part of himself. So all these things are made of parts of Odo that aren't currently in use.
That works for me.
Don't ask too many questions. I mean, I guess so. You know, from a quantum physics perspective, all matter is just energy. So maybe they're solar powered.
I don't know. If you think about this too much, it'll fall apart.
O'Brien personally took a massive dump in each mine, and it's made from his poo.
Gross.
Which is actually the densest material on Earth, considering the amount of shepherd's pie he eats.
Mm-hmm, exactly. It's like Nibbler.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's you know, what is it? One pound
of which can weigh to
10,000 pounds or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Isn't that Niffler?
No, Nibbler.
Oh my god, no. Niffler is a fucking Harry Potter thing.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'll see myself
It's that
out.
little mole that likes gold.
Wizarding!
You're a wizard, Harry!
But yeah, like you were saying, Jake, that's the thing. It's when you cut off the supply lines in war here, it's like you're forced to surrender, and these people go, it's like, all right, here's a fucking sandwich. Now go home. The Federation can say, all right, here's some Ketracel White so your men don't die.
Well, yeah, but they could do what, I know that it's the next episode, but
It's all one big episode at this point.
Well, but it sort of sounds like they could theoretically, like,
knock them out?
Oh, yeah.
Put them into hibernation until they can get them more of the...
until O'Brien takes down the minefield.
I mean, see, here's the thing. Is, Cisco...
when you say takes down the minefield, do you mean shits out that shepherd pie?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
All right,
but see, it's one thing to make that offer to 9 Jem'Hadar. It's another to make the offer to however many, God knows how many Jem'Hadar there are in the Alpha Quadrant right now.
You don't know.
Unless, of course, because they did mention it's their main production facility in the Alpha Quadrant. Maybe they have a backup in the Beta. We don't know.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess there is some question there, though, of Federation ideals, but at the same time, I don't really give a fuck because, these guys are they're fucking killing machines.
They are, but also the couple of them that we've met as individuals all end up being very interesting as kind of quasi people. And we'll talk about this more in Rocks and Shoals, obviously. But
yes,
again, one big episode right now.
But remember, they're also, they mentioned how many ships of the 7th Fleet survived.
Yeah, it's 14 of 112, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, this is a bad war.
We can't keep going like this. Yeah, no shit. Like, literally, you can't.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Which, and again, like we were talking about last week, this is already, after the devastation suffered in the events of First Contact, so, not a good time.
It reminds me a lot, like the current state of the Federation reminds me of a fair amount of the alternate Federation in yesterday's Enterprise.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
Where it was like, this war is going terribly. And like, just all shit is hitting the fan constantly.
How many yars do we have to throw at this to make it work?
Right.
I mean, not Seska.
Sela.
Sela's out there somewhere.
Yay.
Who the fuck is Seska?
I don't know.
Seska's in Voyager.
Oh, okay.
Hope wherever she is, she's drinking a Fresca.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Okay. Somebody draw Seska on a Fresca.
Jake's having an epiphany.
What's up, Jake?
Holy shit. Okay.
Oh no.
We are actually in an alternate yesterday's Enterprise universe, because there's another universe where Jake Sisko didn't sever the link with Ben Sisko in the future, old Jake Sisko from The Visitor. That was the Prime universe where Ben Sisko is stuck in subspace. This is the alternate yesterday's Enterprise universe from that event.
Yeah, because we know in The Visitor, if that timeline had been the right one, then we would have just seen they would have just abandoned the station and been done.
Yeah.
This one, they abandoned the station but want to come back because Sisko left his ball there. Damn it!
The Defiant survives for 30 years or whatever, and Nog's a captain, and Jadzia's there.
Oh, too soon. Actually, not soon enough. Not.
Yeah.
Timelines.
Yep.
But point is, we are in the darkest timeline.
Great. No, that sounds right. It's very dark.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone is just morale is shot to hell. Everyone's grumpy.
I don't know. Garrick was super, super happy to see Bashir. It was very cute. I put a little heart in my notes.
Well, yes, Garrick is trying desperately to light a little flirty fire, but Bashir's all
always do that.
I don't know. Bashir's always is like, oh, I'm in a poopy mood. And
ever since people knew that I was augmented, I've been in a mood.
Yeah, Garrick.
Give him a break. He's at least 33 by now, so
I feel like I made a similar joke.
Yes, you did.
Because he talks about him not being so young anymore. I was like, oh, is he 31 now?
Smile's not as boyish.
But to be fair, also, he was literally a prisoner of the Jem'Hadar or whoever until very recently. So if I was him, I'd be in a pretty poopy mood myself.
I know.
The other reunion we see is Jadzia gets to see Worf again for the first time in 30 years.
Oh
my god, and she leaps into his arms. That catch was fucking brilliant.
I didn't care for it because it was this doesn't seem like Jadzia. Maybe it's because she's just so overwhelmed with emotion, but usually she's
horniness.
The adult in the room.
Yeah, overwhelmed with horniness.
She's like, hurry up and break one of my ribs.
Oh yeah, Sisko knows. When they leave, he says, try not to break any bones. And Jadzia gives this little winky wave, I know what you mean.
I'm getting my bones broken.
Yeah, no, that was not emotion. That was come here and fuck me in both holes at once.
Yeah, gross. This is going to be the most time.
Pouch?
Oh
no! No. That's We don't need that.
I hate everything now.
I wonder if they do that. I wonder if there's like pouch play.
No, they do not. They do absolutely not.
Well, this is the line for you. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Because it's like to me it's like the equivalent of when people like make jokes about like, oh yeah, if you're like have sex when you're pregnant, you're like knocking on your kid's head. It's like the same thing, except the fucking symbiont is completely sentient. So if
the symbiont wants some too. It's a threesome.
Does the symbiont actually jerks you off from inside the pouch? All right, never mind. I'm back on board.
Actually, when you think about it, if a symbiont has had enough previous lives, sex with a symbiont is always an orgy.
Needless to say, the walls of Regular One haven't been this splattered since Khan was there. So,
are we back on Regular One?
You're saying class of station, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you pointed that out as well.
I did.
Sorry, excuse me.
Pound Town. Anyway, carrying on.
I'm going to switch tracks because I want to talk more about what's happening over on Terok Nor, which is all very fascinating. The most interesting of which is like the dick measuring contest between Weyoun and Dukat, who you can tell can't fucking stand each other.
Yeah, no, it's terrific.
Well, because Dukat is like just waiting for his chance to completely fuck the Dominion over, and Weyoun knows it.
Yeah.
Also, Weyoun doesn't have a dick. I don't think.
They're clones.
But we have seen women. I think they're probably infertile, but they probably still have the bits and bobs.
Yeah, it's never, I don't know if it's ever established if also they do anything
Sex.
with any genitalia related activities.
Well, because Zial, but they like everything else that Zial suggested they might like, so.
True.
Like, we know they like to gamble and eat, but...
We get to see Quark, with all the Jem'Hadar that are just in the bar now, not doing anything, not buying anything. And my first thought was, wouldn't they fucking love battle programs in the holodeck?
That's what Chris said, and I said no, because there was this whole thing where, I don't remember if it was Worf or Martok or both, but they were basically like, oh no, you know what? It was during that episode where Martok's the captain, but they're talking about how like the Jem'Hadar like totally suck because they don't do battle because they love it or because they have bloodlust. They do it because they're ordered to.
Oh,
so I'm willing to bet they really wouldn't. They would just be like, nah.
There are no things
that might have just been a Klingon perspective because we have seen how Jem'Hadar actually do have bloodlust.
Well, they train.
Yeah, but they're also like, I've always wanted to meet a Klingon, and
but I mean, I could see them
fight.
I could see them finding like holo programs kind of pointless.
Yeah, that's
unless
true.
the Vorta told them to, they wouldn't do it.
That's what I think.
Okay,
like maybe in their youth they use them for training, but once they're officially soldiers, it's like I don't want a fucking game. I want real blood.
I feel like in their youth they probably just make them like fight each other. I feel like it's very Spartan.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
the guys from Game of Thrones, the
Dothraki?
No,
you're talking about the
slave soldiers. I can't remember. I want to keep calling them unmentionables, but that's not what they're called.
That's what
Unsullied.
I call them.
The Unsullied.
Are they also eunuchs?
Yeah, they're eunuchs.
They've been snipped. I thought it was very interesting between these two episodes, seeing on Deep Space Nine, and I happened to Terok Nor, seeing all the Cardassians and Jem'Hadar wandering around because they have the same color scheme.
Yeah.
They have gray, scaly faces and black, slicky hair.
Yep.
Well, Jem'Hadars are a little like bluer gray.
Yeah.
They're very close though.
Yeah,
they're also like crocodile-y. They got more pointy bits.
But from a distance, you just start seeing gray and black everywhere.
But and there's one pointy bit they don't have, and Gul Dukat wants to show his to a certain Bajoran major.
He does.
Oh, Dukat.
And it's so gross.
It's very gross.
Like, I was like, this is both really hot and really disgusting. And I was like, that's probably what Kira's thinking. Why do I want to have sex with Space Hitler?
And I was like, no, she does not.
No, I know she doesn't.
She does not want to fuck Picard on any level.
But she admits, he is such a charming man. He says, do you think your charms are going to work on me? Because he just oozes charm the same way Odo just oozes.
Yeah, but again, it's I think we've said this before. It's used car salesman charm.
Yeah.
It's very thin.
Well, I'd let him kick my tires. That's all I'm saying.
His hair looked like crap this episode.
I hate it.
Yeah, we both noticed.
He looks like, you said it, he looks like a founding father.
Yeah, he looked like George Washington at one point.
Yeah, there was something wrong with the wig. I don't know what it was. Somewhere between seasons, the wig got stomped on or
got
something.
Bushy. Well, I feel like I noticed the Jem'Hadar's hair more this time than before too. So I'm wondering if 6th season is just the hairy season for some reason.
Well, they always vary up the Jem'Hadar hair.
Well,
so.
I've literally never noticed until today that they have black hair. Never have I noticed.
That is not true. Because on a previous episode you said, I've never noticed before that they have black hair.
Did I really?
Yep.
That's funny.
Jesus. Well, I've only noticed twice then, presumably. And next week, let's see. Place your bets, kids. Will I say it again next week?
And not all of them, I think. Some of them, I think, shave it. Because some don't have any hair, but...
Yeah, and some of them just have, like, the one braid thing.
Yeah.
Again, like, why do Jem'Hadar have hair? Jem'Hadar and Cardassians.
They were built by the founders.
But why?
I don't know.
The founders are terrible at hair. Ask Odo.
Like, I'm guessing that the founders didn't build them from scratch. They probably took, like...
The task.
Yeah.
They probably, like, got some crocodiles and were like, we'll start from here and, mix things up.
I was thinking for a while, as I was also watching all the folks, wandering around the station, thinking, you don't see any changelings walking around. But you probably do. Yeah. They're probably just something. They're probably everywhere. And they're just, disguised as people and things and rats and what have you.
Certainly being everywhere is their claim.
Yep.
Yeah, and like they're sitting there, they're watching Wei Yun get all wet for Odo, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could drop my guard and get a Wei Yun blowjob."
I don't think the changelings are into that.
We don't know. That's true. They like the link.
That's all they're looking for.
2 in the pink, 1 in
the link.
Okay.
You're right, though. I
love it.
That is a common thread among the Dominion. Bad hair. Founders, Vorta, Jem'Hadar,
and now the Cardassians.
Yeah,
or
I'm
at
hoping
least
they clean it
Gul
up.
Dukat with his fucking horrible Ben Franklin wig.
Yeah, I think they'll clean it up.
They fucking better.
Yeah, they might have just been trying something new, like how, what was it? Start of season 3 or 4, they put Jadzia's hair up, and then they were like, never mind.
Maybe it's just meant to show how busy he's being kept. Like he hasn't been able to. Yeah.
Where's Mott?
The Enterprise?
Dead. Probably dead.
Oh, shit.
Killed by the Dominion.
No, actually.
Do we see him again?
R.I.P. Mott.
No, spoilers, I guess, for Picard. We see a sign for a Mott's barber shop at one point.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He franchises.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's because, Star Trek Picard is a complete fan service nightmare.
And what's he again, a Bolian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice, good for me.
Because we also see, like, Quark's Casino on fucking Gambling Planet. Anyway, that's enough Picard for one day.
Yes.
Aww.
I can rage about this in a couple of years.
Speaking of Armin Shimmerman.
Yeah.
Yay!
I found his discussion about, comparing the types of occupation pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. That was a good talk.
It was, and I think, it maybe explains to an extent why he was less gougy during the last occupation than he could have been. Because, there was a sense that it wasn't just to, remind Kira that there is a little bit of trauma there from what he even just experienced as a bystander. It seems to be something that has haunted him to an extent.
I wonder if we'll see more of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. I feel like this show just kind of forgets shit and moves on.
True. Although they have fully embraced the Julian is an augment and Garrick likes to give him shit about it.
Yeah.
But to a really annoying extent. It came up 4 times this episode. It's okay, we get it. Thank you. One reminder would have been sufficient.
Well, what it was is there was the very heavy-handed reminder and then
several more.
And then him showing off. Which is why they did the heavy-handed reminder.
But you only needed the one. You just needed him doing the calculations, everyone looking at him and being like, what? I'm augmented. And then we're going, and then moving on. Instead of being like, not like literally, that's bad writing, but like, it didn't need to, we didn't need to, I will not tell Liza to death, is all I'm saying.
Mm.
Well, I also, though, in context of 90s television and how 90s television worked, and the fact that it would now have been months since that episode aired, and it wasn't really discussed regularly outside of that episode. I don't even know if it was ever brought up outside of that episode.
Yeah, it's come up at least once since.
Mostly in a darts game.
Oh, that's right, the darts.
But, so I can see, where this is the season premiere. People
have been gone for a while.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about it a lot, that they kind of did maybe have to at least drop a little extra to be like, like that scene with Garrick at the beginning probably would have been enough.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a little bit overkill is all. I agree with you, though, especially because the internet wasn't quite there yet, right?
Yeah.
I also think we're going to see a lot more of Julian, like, dropping the act of being not so informed of things. I think he's going to be, like, way more of an adult character from now on. I mean, he is, like, 35 now, so.
Yeah. He's actually planning to go back to night school at Starfleet Academy just so he can be valedictorian.
Nice. Oh, speaking of Julian, I bet you he's feeling really good right now about not having cured the Ketracel White dependence in, was it Hippocratic Oath?
Yeah, that's true. If he'd done that, then
they'd be boned.
Well, who knows? It might have been, because the whole point of that was that without the dependence, the Jem'Hadar would not have any reason to fight anymore.
Yeah, they just kill all their Vorta masters and be like, freedom!
Yeah, which, seems like something that they would completely do.
And then it's just like, well, now what do we do? And the Vorta reinstate the NFL.
What?
I don't know. It's like, what are they going to do if they can't just go around murdering? I feel like they'd really like American football.
Okay.
Maybe we could just have them play baseball instead.
Nope, that's a dead sport.
No more baseball.
Could they play baseball in France while learning French? That famously dead language.
In France, it's called le baseball.
I want to see
little known facts.
I want to see a Jem'Hadar being a snooty French waiter now.
Yikes.
But in blue, like a crocodile, with bad black hair.
Oh, and of course, Jake is journalisting.
Poorly.
Yeah.
Although I did like that scene between him and Weyoun.
Yeah.
Well, Weyoun is always great, so.
Yeah, because that's the thing, like, Weyoun's character and just how much of a piece of shit he is, but also at the same time trying to be friend to everybody.
Yep.
It's I'm wondering, like, how genuine he actually is. Because it's entirely plausible to me that he is 100% genuine in everything he says, and that nothing that he's doing is deliberately backhanded. But at the same time, I don't know that I trust that. And like the reason I say that is because, like, he does actually seem to take the Bajoran non-aggression pact very seriously.
Yeah.
When, like,
he stops Dukat from killing them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he could, like, Dukat's like just salivating to start the new occupation.
Oh yeah.
But Weyoun is like, no, but there's really no reason strategically not to.
Well, they want to prove their word. They want to prove that when they make a treaty, they keep their word.
And I think that goes back to, the Dominion are the heroes of their own story. They actually do believe what they say, and that, we're just bringing order to a chaotic galaxy and, bringing peace.
They're like very much like kind of Borg-esque, but without like stripping everybody of their culture.
Yeah.
Though speaking of him being like, no, we're not going to attack Bajor, Gul Dukat said something to him like, you just like being the master of the Jem'Hadar. And I kind of wonder how true that is and how much him not giving Gul Dukat, I mean, it's not an inch, is it? But like him being very like, no, we're not going to do that, is him just trying to rein him in and sort of lord it over him as well.
There was a moment we see. I think it's Wei Yun that does some Ketracel white distribution with his Jem'Hadar.
Yep.
And it gave me like this really like communion kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely got that going on, and it's interesting because it's like this Wei Yun was a little less passive about it than the previous Wei Yun. Because the first Wei Yun we met, they're like, it's time for the white and the ceremony. And he's like, oh, God, do you with the, hey, if I can go piss off, I'm having scrambled eggs. This time he takes it.
That was the first Wei Yun, because I was just thinking of that, but I forgot it was Wei Yun. But go on.
Yeah, but this one, it takes it like a little more seriously.
It feels more serious. It feels a lot
also
more
probably
serious.
Comparatively younger and less jaded than the other Wei Yun.
The
other Wei Yun has probably done that ceremony a few, 100,000 times.
Yeah.
This
by
one's
that point.
only done it, a few hundred times.
I think it's sort of like being a notary public. I got so excited when I could take out my stamp and like use my seal. It's that pomp and circumstance, but it's because I only got to do it every once in a while. Once you have to do it all the time, I'm sure it's like, Jesus Christ.
That is a weirdly good comparison because I knew a couple people in my office who were notaries and have been doing it for years. And it definitely it stops feeling special at some point.
Loses its shine.
And you're just like, why do I still do this?
Well, you can make 50 whole cents per signature.
Yeah, you just don't renew.
Yeah, technically mine's gone by, sadly. I should renew anyway. It's only $60.
If you still have the stamp, though, who's going to know?
Well, it says the date that it expires on it.
Oh.
So everyone.
Everyone who sees this stamp.
Literally everybody. We'll just backdate it all.
It's so funny. Jake Sisko believes in the freedom of the press. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, but also, he's pressing a lot of, very American values, and it's but he's not...
Well, we've always said, the Federation is the American vision of its best self.
I guess so. Well... Except for all the ways it sucks.
Well, yeah.
But,
and
I don't
DS9 begins to question that, but...
I'm just saying, we haven't seen a constitution. I don't know that freedom of the press is, one of their...
I would
Because
assume.
aside from him, I don't... But when do we even hear, really, a lot about the press? There hasn't been any, It's not
Star
apparent...
Trek Generations.
Well, it also sounds like because he mentioned that he was a correspondent with the Federation News Service, which... does not sound anything like a propaganda outlet.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's just it's just propaganda, exactly.
But that's what, in a way, though, that's what Wei Yun is saying. He's like, listen, you want to write stories, go for ahead, but I'm not going to send out your propaganda to make us look bad.
But Jake's also but I'm not going to write your propaganda to make you look good.
Yeah. And Joe mentions that there's a news wire of some kind in his call with Sisko.
Yeah, but it's not the news coming from Jake or anyone on Terok Nor, I'm sure.
No, but that's what I mean, though. But there is some sort of, there is a concept of the press.
Yeah.
I wonder what everyone thinks is happening on Terok Nor right now.
I kind of wonder how many people give a shit about Terok Nor, outside of the Federation.
I also wonder, though, because we see, obviously the station has a lot of Jem'Hadar and Cardassians on it, but, I think we also see other aliens still hanging out.
Yeah.
So it's not like the station is shut down, and so I presume that if you're just going to the station, I'm sure Cassidy is still making her deliveries.
I want to see more Cassidy. God damn it, Star Trek.
So maybe Ben could get Cassidy to smuggle Jake out.
Well,
but he doesn't want to go.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to
honestly,
be,
they probably, even if he did, they probably wouldn't let him because he's such a high value prisoner.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's
not a prisoner.
He's not, but he's not a prisoner, but he's
until he
is a prisoner.
But he could be very quickly.
Yeah, he's not a prisoner until it's convenient.
Until Dukat or Wei Yun decide they need leverage on Sisko.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Two episodes or so from now, he might suddenly become a prisoner. I could see that happening. If this is going where I think it's going. I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but I have an assumption.
I gotta say though, he's clearly his journalistic, I understand that he's trying to apply Federation values to what he's doing, but in just the questions that he's asking Wei Yun, and in the next episode he's gonna be questioning other people.
Yeah.
That it strikes me that he doesn't quite recognize that he's not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
Like he really, if he were as a journalist, he should be more objective about things. You know, just the questions that he asks and the way that he asks them is very much putting a spin on it, which I understand why Weyoun is shutting him down when he asks questions.
We don't see Rom in either of these episodes, do we?
Well, as a good spy,
I was going to say, maybe he's a better spy than I gave him credit for.
See? But yeah, I mean, Jake's pretty green. This is like still one of his earliest assignments, really.
Yeah.
He's got to learn the ropes.
But he probably learned pretty quick because his last one was supposed to be a puff piece and it turned into MASH.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
The last thing I wanted to bring up was those VR headset things that act as view screens, but they go into your brain or something.
Yeah.
And I
already
made a note.
Redesigned.
I made a note when we first saw the things. I'm like, wow, those things are going to be a huge strain on the eye. And the very next scene, Cisco's suffering from the worst fucking headache of his life.
Yep.
Saying, oh, god damn this ship, why didn't we install a view screen?
It's like me with 3D glasses for films.
Oh god, I hate them.
Me too.
But honestly, though, why the fuck didn't they install a view screen?
Or chairs! Fucking chairs!
They probably didn't have time.
They were like training on it for 2 weeks.
Like,
all right, then they
you
just
could
didn't have
replicate
enough
a chair
chairs.
and bolt it to the floor. I don't know.
I have a reason they didn't install chairs, but that's for the next episode.
Oh, okay. Why not a replicator then?
Yeah.
That makes no fucking sense.
That's stupid, because, like, it's not like they're not able to be installed in other things. We see them all over the fucking place.
Well, also, I'm assuming, maybe I'm making an assumption but we see in the next episode that we're going to talk about, we see that there's a crew of at least 13, right? Because there were 10 Jem'Hadar in the next episode. There was 1 Vorta, and there were 2 dead Jem'Hadar, the first and the second.
At least 2 dead Jem'Hadar.
At least 2 dead Jem'Hadar. So we know that the ship can support a crew of at least 13, assuming it's the same ship that they crashed in.
The same style ship?
This ship here has a crew of, we got Cisco, Dax,
O'Brien,
Nog, Garrick,
and like 3 randos.
2 randos. 2. Yeah, unless people died in the crash. Oh yeah, Julian. So there should be enough room on that ship for some, a bio bed or something,
Yeah.
Speaking of
either that or the Jem'Hadar are just packed in like sardines. Which is plausible.
They sleep standing up. Or they don't sleep at all? I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know that they sleep. I think they just get their white and go on.
Well, Klingons aren't big on having doctors on ships, right? Maybe...
No, they have doctors. They're just shitty doctors.
Oh, I thought that they wouldn't, because if you can die, it's better to die or something.
Well, Martok mentions how he hurt his arm, and he'd rather have, like, he even said Klingons make good warriors but shitty doctors.
Yeah.
You know who makes the best doctors? Vulcans. According to Zek. Asshole.
I just kind of wonder about that, though, because I feel like we've been told before that they don't usually have doctors on those ships.
They must. Curious. I mean, they must at least have if they don't have like a full CMO type person, they at least have people that have medical training.
Yeah, like I mean, you've got to at least deal with the small non-fatal injuries so they don't get sepsis.
That said, having seen the crew of the Rotaran, I understand why Martok didn't want them to fix his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess I was just wondering if Klingons aren't big, if I had been correct that they didn't have doctors, then I was wondering, like, maybe if the Jem'Hadar also don't, because I kind of feel
the Jem'Hadar definitely don't.
Yeah, they just kill each other if they're.
But I was gonna say that makes sense though, because it means more white for everybody and less waste of resources.
It's like shooting a wounded horse. You're like, fuck this horse, not worth caring for it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, an injured person is not a fighting person, and they're just a drain on the rest of the crew.
Well, and honestly, a wounded horse would have more value because you might be able to stud it.
But I think that also kind of goes back to what the comment that the Klingon made in the Rotaran episode about
was a Klingon made?
Yeah. the Klingon who made the comment about the difference between like why the Jem'Hadar are better than the Klingons.
Yeah.
It's because the Klingons, they would like go back and save their fallen comrade if they could. Whereas
you mean why
Jem'Hadar,
Klingons are better than Jem'Hadar?
No. Remember there was the guy who was like the Jem'Hadar, they'll beat us because they're better than us because they don't have, you know, they don't give a shit about anything. They just want to fight.
Okay.
It's not even that they want to; they're told to.
Yeah.
They were specifically created to be these fighting things that take their orders from Vorta. Speaking of doing that kind of a thing, we're going to talk about season 5's The Ship. It's my running gag. It's my running gag for this whole episode. I'm fucking hilarious. All right, we're going to talk Rocks and Shoals.
So 2 more weeks of this is what you're saying.
A lot of this. All right, so Rocks and Shoals, when we last saw our Starfleet heroes that we were, just talking about in the previous episode, they're stranded in space without warp. But all of that is moot anyway, because we run into some Jem'Hadar, and they bring the ship, the episode from season 5, back from whence it came. Crash landed on a planet somewhere.
Whoops.
Jadzia has injured the fuck out of herself and her Trill in a way that the writers wrote in to get Harry Farrell out of most scenes, which we'll talk about in a bit. And as we're checking out this planet that we've crashed on, we send Nog and Garrick, who are very cute together, because after their whole thingy in, the Kotra episode. Empok Nor, yeah. The episode with all the Kotra playing. They have all this very interesting backstory together, and they go out in search of snacks, but they get captured by some Jem'Hadar, who have also crash-landed on the episode. God damn.
Womp womp.
Crash-landed on the planet, and also injured their version of Jadzia, who happens to be their Vorta, Kivan. So the plan is, they're going to trade Garrick and Nog for Sisko and Bashir. Great trade, guys. You're gonna win this. Because Kivan needs to get doctored hard. And everyone says, yeah, let's do this. This is a great idea. We kind of like the Jem'Hadar third, Ramataclan, because we've seen him as some other characters before, so we're gonna go along with this. So we do that. We heal up Kivan. Kivan reveals that he's only got like a fucking teaspoon of Ketracel White left, and all of his Jem'Hadar are soon going to go through withdrawal, kill him, kill everyone, kill themselves, just death everywhere. And he doesn't want that to happen. Sisko doesn't bother telling them that they had 83 barrels of the stuff on their ship that crashed in the lake.
I mean, but it's they say it's like 500 meters.
I bet that Jem'Hadar can swim that. I bet they can do it. Especially as they're going through withdrawal.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I bet some of them would be willing to die trying.
They're going to die anyway.
That's
Why
what I'm
not
saying.
Try?
I agree. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying.
But that doesn't come up at all, because Kivan's plan of, why don't you just kill everyone, sounds way more Sisko's style. And after an I'm sorry we have to kill everyone speech that they had with Ramataclan, whom I liked a lot, that's exactly what Sisko does. In the B plot, Kiro has settled into life on the station, occupied by the Dominion and Cardassians, because at this point she's just used to it. It's in her nature, like, oh, this is just my life, this is how things go. But then Vedic Yasim comes along and says, I don't think Bajoran should stand for this, and adds her name to the number of Bajoran priests who have hanged themselves from the promenade.
Yep.
A lot of them do this. Jesus. And Kira realizes...
2. We've seen 2.
That's still more than any other way that we've seen Bajorans die.
It's a very popular hanging spot.
It is.
Yeah, so Kira realizes, oh my prophets, what have I done with my life? I want to go back to being in the Resistance, so I will. End of episode.
Well, I'm glad. I, for one, am glad, because I don't know about this.
Well, see, the thing is, it's like, I love Kira, but she definitely doesn't have the temperament to play the game that Sisko was asking her to play.
What was that game? Kotra?
Basically, just to, like, keep the peace, I'll be back, and fix it.
Hasta la vista.
That's a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because she is. Like,
watch my ball.
Like, I think, I really enjoyed how they started, kind of started her arc by showing her routine, getting up in the morning.
Look in the
she
mirror.
Gets on the elevator with the Jem'Hadar.
Gray people.
She's got a Cardassian friend that brings her coffee. Like they show how it's kind of normalized for her, and then they repeat that sequence later after the hanging.
Yeah.
To contrast it, and it's that's I think where you see that turning point.
Yeah.
That she's perfectly fine to get on with it and play the game until she realizes the stakes.
That's what I mean, though. I think, like, that's what proves she's actually not able to play that game, is, like, the minute it sort of calls into question how she feels about herself and how things should be. I'm not saying that's a failing of hers. It's just she wasn't necessarily the right person for this job, because for her, direct action is the only action.
Who is the right person for this job? Is there such a person?
Odo,
yeah.
Maybe Odo. Odo's in the super secret club now, and hopefully that will all go well.
But even he's now like, all right, let's go do it your way, because I've got a boner for you.
Well, I also, the way that Odo kind of tries to talk her out of it, I'm losing a lot of respect for Odo.
Dude, at the end of the day, he's a cop, and you know what we say about cops.
That's true. He's not just a cop, but like he is a collaborator, and like he has no convictions of his own. Just like his, his physical form is so malleable. His allegiances are incredibly malleable. That's good,
Jake. Good
job.
That was
well put,
I
Jake.
like it.
I do like the metaphor, but I don't know. I think Odo has convictions. I think he's just, again, he's better suited at playing this kind of. It's not quite a double agent role, but it's a.
He's going to do what he thinks is just, which isn't necessarily what Sisko thinks is just, isn't necessarily what the Cardassians think is just, and isn't necessarily what Kira thinks is just.
I think that's a good way to put it. It isn't that he doesn't have his own feelings. It's just that he has very much his own feelings. Like, he has a moral code. It just doesn't necessarily align with anybody else's.
I also think, though, that, he just wants to get his pole wet, and like that's at the end when he decides to go along with Kira, it's because it's Kira that asked him.
Yeah. I would also agree with that.
Well, I think he's also, maybe it's like he's not necessarily good at being nefarious, as evidenced by the whole, like, oh god, it's confusing. But at the last episode, I guess, she was like, she was like, I feel like we're being used. Like, wait, I thought we were using them. Isn't this a victory? And she's like, maybe? So, like...
Hey, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah,
1
it's...
+ 2 + 1.
Like, I mean, I just think Kira's being a bit hard on herself because it's a game she doesn't know how to play. Like, she's not really a proper collaborator. She's not...
Well, she specifically says inaction is the same as violence.
Yeah.
Right, which, I mean, I think, again, is true for someone who isn't... She's not willingly being inactive. This is, again, it was like she was told just... The thing you need to do this time to keep Bajor safe is to just keep these guys from attacking it. And that's not... Like, again, I just think, like... I feel like there's a difference between a proper collaborator and what she's doing.
Yeah, I also
she's
do
just
think
being
that,
complacent.
Yeah,
really.
I think it's more complacency, and I think that I think it's a bit of naivete on her part too, and that she thinks that okay, or like maybe she just bought into what Sisko said, that okay, as long as the Jem'Hadar aren't marching on Bajoran cities, everything's okay.
Right.
And then it takes, the Vedic and the Vedic being like, yeah, no, evil must be opposed, for her to realize, like, no, like, it's not an either or. It's not, we don't have to literally have troops in cities for this to be wrong.
Oh, that's right. The additional struggle that we're having right now is because the Dominion is kind of overseeing Bajor, or at least not letting Federation people come to Bajor. Bajor is like, what, going through a food shortage or something?
Something like that, yeah. And they're sending
some kind of shortage.
And they're sending some sort of, like,
Vorta
conference
presence.
of Vorta, which sounds like the world's shittiest conference, by the way.
It really does.
Well, it sounds like something.
And I've been to financial aid conferences.
Ooh, God, what an awful sounding conference.
It is.
I hope we get lots of swag at least. So many pens and tote bags.
Actually, I will say this to all of you that would never have suspected this from some of the most button-up people you ever met at your college. Financial aid staff love heavy drinking and partying.
That doesn't surprise me. So yeah, so we're talking about...
who would have... if they're having a food shortage on Bajor, who would really be good to help with that?
Oh, the flaky people.
The flaky people.
Yep.
The Screens.
Yep.
Who they themselves... Wasn't their planet also wiped out by the Dominion, though?
Maybe?
Was it the Dominion?
I think it was before it was really established what the Dominion was, but it was implied, I think, that the Dominion was responsible for...
Yeah, I feel like it was in those...
They were in the Dominion, and they defied the Dominion, and so the Dominion destroyed them to take revenge.
Yeah, I feel like it was those early days where, like, we had heard the name now, but the details were still few and far between, and we hadn't, like, yet met the Vorta and the Jem'Hadar and all that.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing wherever they say Dominion, you hear in the background somewhere someone going, "Bana."
Exactly, yeah.
The thing is also, like, Bajor is in a very precarious position right now.
Oh, goodness,
they have this non-aggression pact with the Dominion that is saving their lives at the moment, because otherwise they would be mowed the fuck down.
Oh, God,
they'd
no
be
time
gone
flat.
in half a second flat. So they kind of, in a way, I don't want to say they asked for this, because that's the wrong way to put it, but they're here in a way that there isn't a better opportunity for them at the moment.
Well, no, they're doing, again, like, the planet is even doing what Sisko asked them to. He told them to sign the non-aggression pact to buy time.
So what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah, it's hard. This is more complicated than I think the Cardassian situation was.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to, is because, like, the resistance back in the day was between them and the Cardassians, and that was it.
And the Cardassians were specifically at war with them, killing them.
Whereas this is, they're at the mouth of the wormhole. The Alpha Quadrant has fallen into fucking a massive war, and they're uninvolved right now. But it's a very delicate balance, and they would, like you said, like, the minute they piss off the Dominion, Weyoun gets to tell Dukat, just turn to Dukat and go, do whatever. And it's like, is that, it's complicated, There's no good way to do it. And but I think Kira's looking at it more through the lens of the original occupation, which is such a different situation.
Yeah, like right now, the thing that the Bajorans should be doing is waiting it out. And the problem with waiting it out is right now they're without enough food to survive, so they have to rely on the Vorta, who they don't want to rely on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's rough.
And waiting things out, I think, is in general, not just Kira, not really in the Bajoran character.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, I think, is that the longer this goes on, the greater the chance that they figure out a way to take down the minefield.
Yeah. True.
And that's going to be, like, if that happens, that's probably game over.
Well, that's why you're waiting for the Federation to fucking do something.
Yeah.
But they've been having their asses handed to them. I wrote a note, actually. Here's my good note from the first episode I didn't read. Damn, the Federation is getting more pounded than Jadzia.
But honestly, like, it does seem that they made a real strategic error when they decided to attack the shipyard instead of defending Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you think about it, if they had defended Deep Space Nine and managed to fend off the Dominion attack, which seems pretty likely, given that with, 2 ships and
the station,
a couple of runabouts,
they pretty much managed to fend off the attack, and like they fended off a first wave completely on their own.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like it would be a stretch that a few more ships could have defended it completely. But now, because like now we're in a much worse position because, Weyoun and Dukat can just take their time taking down that wormhole minefield. I think the Federation thought, well, if we have the minefield and if we take out their shipyards, then it'll only be a matter of, attrition before we'll make it so that they can't fight anymore.
Yeah, now we've got their Ketracel White facility.
Yeah, well, I think that was like the last ditch effort. It's like, okay, well, clearly they had a lot more ships than we thought, and It's taking a lot longer.
Starfleet's bad at war.
Yeah. and incidentally, the Klingons seem to be pretty bad at it too.
Yikes.
They're getting their asses kicked just as bad as the Federation.
Yeah.
Although, in their defense, they also just went from one war to the next.
True.
They were already at war with the Cardassians.
Right.
Yeah, apparently it's how I evidently play Risk, where it's like, I just always attack, right? No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
We played
lost
Risk because I haven't played Risk in years, and Ames had never played Risk. So we played a game, and yeah, we need to work on strategy, I think.
I had Australia briefly.
See, I was about to say, that's the one strategy everyone naturally falls into.
Attack.
Take over Australia, and then try to go from there. Like, I thought that was just me, but Eddie Izzard even has a bit about it. But build up on the purples, get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep. The last thing I wanted to bring up of all of our stuff that's happening on the station at the moment is I had almost no reaction to the hanging scene. And I wonder if it's because we also didn't see anyone else reacting or have any. I don't think there was even any noise in that scene of anyone gasping, being like, "Oh no, this is a horrible thing that we've just watched happen right in front of us, and it's traumatizing." It's you zoom in on Kira and then you cut the scene, and I was like, "God damn it!"
Didn't they also slow-mo it weirdly, or did I make that up in my head?
Yeah, well, it was slow mode.
My thing was like I just saw it coming.
Oh, yeah, same.
Like when she was like, we'll see tomorrow, and then there's no crowd. It's like, oh, she's gonna fucking light herself on fire or blow herself up or hang herself or something, isn't she? And Kira's gonna get a sad.
You're so bored of it.
Yeah, not exactly the most shocking moment, I think.
No, but Jordan's loved two things: revolution and symbolic suicide.
Martyrdom.
Yeah.
I think the way that the scene was shot, though, I just had zero reaction to it.
Well, I also think it's kind of a bummer that there's no Vedic character that we really know on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
They had to introduce a character this episode just to kill her off.
Should have kept Barial around. No, we really shouldn't have.
They should have put like the Spock's brain thing on his head and kept him around. Just have somebody remote controlling him all the time.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I think the mass slaughter of the Jem'Hadar was more effective.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. So so the A-plot in this episode.
Yeah.
Everyone was clearly sad except Garrick, who seemed pretty into it.
Yeah.
And
they wanted it to go another way. I mean, so did I, because I really liked Ramataclan.
Yeah, that's Phil Morris again.
Yeah, Phil Morris. We last saw him as the guy that Quark fought for his for Grilka's love.
Yep. Yep, and of course, as we realized after the fact, he was one of the Miri kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might actually, he's him and Clint Howard are in a lot of Star Trek. And we're gonna see him at least once or twice more.
Yeah, we see him some more. He was a very interesting character because when we have a discussion with him, like quasi-negotiating, even though he's not doing any negotiating, he's just telling you what the deal is.
Yep.
And being like, yeah, no, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm just telling you what's happening. I don't have any power to do anything, and also I don't care.
Yeah, I liked the scene, the first scene between him and Sisko when in the cave, when Sisko's like, yeah, your Vorta's word means nothing to me. But I see that, I will take your word over the word of the Vorta. I thought that was interesting. And, obviously Sisko playing some mind games himself.
Yeah.
Mind games.
Unsuccessfully.
This guy, though, I've forgotten his name, but I think he is so far the slimiest Vorta we've seen.
Kevon? I'm very interested in seeing more Kevon.
Oh, yeah, I hate him.
And we will, right? Because he's now going to be like a prisoner of war of theirs.
Yeah. We see him at least one more time that I know of.
Nice, I'm excited.
And I think it might just be the one time.
He seemed very young to me. Did he look very young?
The actor... Yeah, I looked up the actor. At the time, he wasn't even 30.
Oh, wow. And compared to the other...
So he wasn't over the hill like Bashir?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Compared to the other Vorta, who all seem adult-sized, even after they've been cloned. It's like, man, this is an interesting choice.
Yeah, no, he's definitely... He's a little young, so he's baby-faced. He's someone we're actually going to see in Star Trek a few more times after this. And he's a local boy. Went to Matignon.
I don't know what that is.
It's a fairly prestigious private or Catholic school in Cambridge.
How have I not heard of this?
I don't know.
Anyway, he also had a great scene with Kevon, or Kevon had a great scene with Ramataclan.
Yeah.
Where, he asks, which one of your boys here started firing even though I told y'all not to, but, you're going through withdrawal, so you're barely paying attention anymore. And Ramataclan wouldn't tell him. And I was like, man, I didn't know that Jem'Hadar could stand up to Vorta like this. Good on you, bro.
Well, the lack of white probably helps. And it feels like there already wasn't a lot of, like there's loyalty because it's programmed into them, but there is definitely no respect for him.
Oh, yeah.
And again, because, I of all the Vorta we've seen, they vary. Some you're like, you're interesting, or there's, like, Weyoun, who it's like, oh, you're just a delight to not trust. And this guy's just, like, there's nothing to like about him. He is deeply unpleasant.
That's funny. I liked him.
Really? Oh, I hate him.
I mean, I just think he's a shithead.
Is he? Okay, because the very first couple of scenes we saw him, I was like, he's being kind of nice to everyone, but it might be because he's extremely injured, laying on a rock.
Well, yeah, I think he's being cordial, but at the same time, I mean, he's dying. Clearly he's just interested in his own self-preservation.
Yeah, I think this is something I was thinking when we were talking about how the discussion with Weyoun, where it's like you enjoy being their sort of boss. And it's like, I don't necessarily know if he enjoys it. It's just something he does. This little twerp likes being in charge and getting to order around these soldiers that he thinks less of.
Yeah, until he runs out of white and realizes.
Yeah, and then he shits his pants and is like,
alive if they have the chance.
Maybe that's why he was being so nice to them.
What's really interesting to me, though, is like, so clearly the Vorta, if not to the same extent, they have definitely had some kind of genetic conditioning and predisposition to worshipping the founders. Why did the founders leave in the self-preservation instinct? Because it seems to me that, like, in a situation like this, you really don't want your Vorta being taken prisoner. Like, it seems like it would have been a much better thing for them to just attack regardless.
I guess the thing is, since the Vorta are the face of the Dominion in a lot of ways, like it's certainly the way we first are introduced to the Dominion at large, is the actual founders kind of try to stay out of the way and remain hidden and unknown as possible. With the Vorta being your public face, so again, they're your ambassadors. They're the people you send a conference of when a planet is having an issue. Like, you need them to be a little more. You need them to have, I guess, the wider range of emotions or feelings and things.
Yeah,
especially if they're gonna be your ambassadors. Like, I suppose a certain amount of self-preservation per se is part of negotiation. Like, it might be necessary that they have a bit more sort of wiggle room.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, this guy definitely only cares about number one, and Amin is first.
Yeah, it's also a little bit like, why would you program a robot to feel pain? You do that so the robot doesn't just light himself on fire all the fucking time and break himself. You want him to stay around long enough to do the thing he needs to do.
Isn't that in Futurama where there's a robot who's like, why was I programmed to feel pain?
No, I think that was
The Simpsons. Yeah, I think it is.
Because we have plenty of robots already in Futurama.
Yeah, they have bespoke homeless robots. Like, why do you make those?
So, as usual, also on this episode, Garrick as a prisoner is...
I love it.
Is wonderful.
So
Every
fun.
time Garrick gets taken prisoner, he's just a smart ass.
Yep.
I liked how at first he tried to convince them that he was a Cardassian prisoner of the Federation. And like, I liked how they even put in, he's like, yeah, I was taken prisoner by the USS Centaur, which is probably just the first ship he thought of because it's the one that they encountered earlier.
Yeah.
So it's just, he's quick on his feet. But
I just think it's too bad that they didn't just see through his bullshit because he's Garrick. They had to find his communicator. It would have been really funny if they were like, yeah, we know who you are, Mr. Garrick. And son of a bitch.
Your name's Elam Garrick, you piece of shit.
Yeah, you're a tailor.
Who you are. They all have him, like, tattooed on their arms.
They've
like,
genetically imprinted his photograph in all of their brains.
Yep.
Him and Cisco.
Yeah.
So hang on. So they've been flying around in the ship from season 5. And the Jem'Hadar...
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
The Jem'Hadars that we come across in space, they know to chase it. And after it crash lands, it never comes up like, what were you doing with that ship?
Well, it's like you said too, like about the white that was on board. I just feel like there's kind of a lot of plot holes in this episode.
Well, I don't know, because it's not clear that the Jem'Hadar knew that the Federation people arrived on a Dominion ship.
Yeah, they just crash landed.
They just know that, because they didn't even know that there was a crash. The only reason they knew there were Federation people is because they saw them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I thought that the Jem'Hadar on the planet were the ones that crash landed because they had been chasing.
No, they were
the
a
ones
different
that were
crash.
chasing,
and they
the
were
ones that
there.
were chasing them stopped at the edge
misinterpreted.
of the nebula. They didn't even follow them in.
Oh, okay.
I loved Garrick's read when he saw that they were crashing.
Oh no!
Like,
guys, hang on.
His veneer of chill has slipped.
Yeah.
When the Jem'Hadar decloak, he has a great line too. He says, something seems amiss. And then the Jem'Hadar appear everywhere. Now I know something is amiss.
Well, what happened was Nog said, "What is it?" He's like, "I'm not sure." And they decloaked, and he's like, "Now I'm sure."
What's interesting...
It was really good.
This reminds me, it seems to be implicit that the cloak might actually be a biological function, and it's dependent on having enough white.
Yeah, because they're like,
assumed.
Yeah.
Go back to the base, and the guy's like, I can't shroud anymore.
Yeah,
I think it was a tech?
I always assumed it was just like a little cloak on the belt or something.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it might be more like a camouflage than a
cloak.
I'm not sure if I had any idea if I thought it was tech or biological.
I had just assumed it was tech until this moment.
I just hadn't really thought about it.
Had an opinion on it.
I mean, since the Tosk could do it, and the Tosk, I assumed it was biological. And since the Tosk and the Jem'Hadar are very similar as species.
I mean, for all we know, the Jem'Hadar were engineered from the Tosk.
Mm.
Yeah, probably.
I say that works for me as headcanon.
Yeah. Especially because we were just saying they definitely started somewhere, and that seems like a good place to start, since they're obviously already susceptible to, like, doing a thing they're told to do, even though it's to, like,
and they will fuck you up
against their benefit.
They're good fighters. They're good. They have cloak.
That's really that should have been a thing. Is they should have gone to Deltacon and tried to find the Tosk. Been like, hey,
Delta Quadrant.
What did I say? Delta again? God damn it! Every fucking time.
It's going to get
we're
even
gonna
more
get there
confusing
soon
on
enough.
Voyager.
Just we're gonna be there.
At that point, I'm just going to make up a fifth one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Epsilon Quadrant.
Yeah.
So speaking of the ship from season 5, this was also the same filming location that they did all the scenes outside that they did on the ship. Oh. And if you'll remember, when we talked about it, it was like stupid hot when they did the ship. And it was even hotter when they did this episode.
No.
Temperatures reached 128 degrees.
Oh
what
my God.
The fuck? Where are they? Arizona?
California.
Oh, fuck that.
Sun Valley, I think. Aptly named.
Only because Death Valley was taken.
Clearly.
Yeah, they had to cut a scene that would have been at the end because it was just too hot to film this fucking scene. Because they would have actually shown Worf swoop in at the end in his ship and rescue everybody so that they wouldn't be stuck on this planet anymore. But they were like, it's too hot. We fucking can't. Just fucking skip it.
Have you seen the 10 pounds of prosthetics I'm under? I will fucking die.
I mean, well, everybody, right? Like,
all the Jem'Hadar
actors, Garrick, Nog.
That's true.
The Vorta.
Hey, I have a question, Ames.
Yeah.
I feel like you alluded to a reason why Jadzia wasn't in a lot of scenes. And I don't think we got there yet.
Yeah.
And I really am curious to know.
Well, you'll also remember in a previous episode that we mentioned that Terry Farrell can't be in direct sunlight because she's got like a skin condition or something.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So they realized we're going to be outside a lot. We cannot ask this of Terry Farrell, and we don't want to build her any more, like, umbrellas and tarps and shit.
Right.
We're just going to have her injured to keep her out of the sun, because this would otherwise just be cruel.
Yeah. Oh, and that's why they didn't put chairs in. Easier to have her injure herself by falling over. So there's no
precarious bridge.
There's no in-world explanation that's good, but there's a meta explanation. It was so Terry Farrell could fall over.
Yeah. The sad thing was, it was, I know in like first and second season, I got really sick of how often Jadzia was just naked on like under a sheet on a table, and we revisited that for this episode. I was like, God damn it! Always naked on a table.
She was naked under there.
They showed her. Well, she at least had her shirt off because they showed her spots.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice it first, but there's the one time they show her from the side, and it's like, oh,
like,
yeah, no,
why was the purpose of taking her shirt off?
Well,
I mean, I guess Julian would have had to take it off to surgerize the.
Yeah.
Also,
consider
it was
that
wet because they
O'Brien
crashed in the water.
I was gonna say, consider that O'Brien ripped his trousers. Maybe she had some kind of fashion malfunction as well.
Maybe
that
they had a tailor.
Well, except his sewing kit is 500 meters.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I was like, how is he going to have a needle? And he's like, I don't have my shit. And I was like, okay.
I did like that scene for some reason.
Which scene?
Where they've all survived, and O'Brien's like, I ripped my fucking pants.
That was a really good scene.
It was.
It was really cute. And it feels real, you know? Because it's like, you've just survived this fucking horrible event. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah,
you're all
this
adrenaline.
Is the thing you say.
This is the thing.
Very O'Brien. Because he's also like the most human character on the show.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did like, I didn't like, I felt like they kind of wasted injured Jadzia. You know, she's injured, and then in the first scene, Julian's like, yeah, she's going to be fine.
Yeah, that's true. There was no, like, stakes where he was concerned.
I was definitely expecting there to be a clock.
Yeah.
I stabilized her, but...
Yeah, the symbiont is injured or something.
Yeah, it would have added more stakes since the Jem'Hadar and Kivon specifically said, we need your doctor over here. And it would have added, like, you know, way more tension for him to be like, well, I can't go over there because I need to stay with Jadzia. And then be like, no, you have to go over there because we need to deal with this. And there would be, like, some level of, like, oh, what decision do I have to make? I don't know. Jadzia's naked over here.
Jadzia's naked over here, but I do like being a Dominion prisoner.
He has to, like...
Well, it's his god complex. He's gonna go and try to heal everybody as usual.
He has to give O'Brien...
I loved, like, the little bit how after he treated Kivon, he was, like, having, like, bedside manner, you know, charm turned up to 11, like, doing the little jokes, like, oh, you're gonna have to put up with me a little bit longer. Oh, here's your sucker.
I love that. I'm alive. No self-diagnosis, please.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, really? Like, this. I know
Maybe
that you like to be affable with your patients, but at the same time, you don't have to be affable with this guy. He's a piece of shit.
I think he was just trying to make Garrick jealous.
Yeah, their little interaction when they were doing, like, the prisoner swap, and they pass on, like, the Getty or wherever they were.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you guys doing? Oh, could be better. Bye.
Well, but Garrick was like, perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
I had a great time.
Yeah, he's the one that has the lollipop.
Yeah.
He's like, they're just giving these away. Do.
Yeah, the Garrick Nog stuff was also very interesting, seeing as they have this weird fucking history now.
Yep. But
like earlier in, you know, when Nog's like, yeah, I'll never let you, you know, I'll never turn my back to you again. And then when they were walking over the Getty, Nog was in front.
It's like, never mind.
I will never play Kotra with you again.
Well, the devil you know, etc.
Yeah, but I also enjoyed that, you know, like, you can walk with, you know, you can walk ahead of me or beside me, but I will never turn my back on you again. Well, there's hope for you yet, cadet.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Garrick loves that people don't trust him because that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah, he was getting annoyed that people were trusting him so much.
Well, it makes him feel like a Cardassian. You know?
Yeah.
It was also interesting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that's why Rom has people telling him he's not Ferengi enough. No one's going to say that shit to him. No one's going to claim he's not Cardassian enough.
Yeah, we also see Nog do some swimming. And I was very interested in being like, how do you swim with all the prosthetics on?
Well, it looked like the actor was deliberately trying not to submerge.
Was he on like a bodyboard maybe or something?
I don't know, but the way he was swimming was very much like you would be swimming if you didn't want to get your hair wet.
He should have been swimming like a frog because he is.
Yeah, that's true. But I bet you like the makeup artist was like, yeah, please. Like, I bet you if that thing gets filled with water, it just like leaks out and weighs 400 pounds.
I was going to say he sinks to the bottom because it's just...
he just gets out and his neck is cranked like this. You know?
God, I don't know if
water flowing out of the ears.
I don't know if I told this story. I probably did when we watched Insurrection, but I know like Brent Spiner was talking about the fact that something to do with the nature of like the temperature of the water when he did that underwater scene made it harder to get his makeup off.
Oh yeah, because it was also I think I mentioned in our Insurrection discussion, it was waterproof makeup.
Right, that's what it was. So yeah, but
I also function as a flotation device.
Good
I'm
for
sorry,
that.
what?
I guess I am sort of glad, though, they didn't have him frog it up, because that just brings back memories of the first Ferengi appearance, and I never need to think of that again.
Yeah. He does the frog kick, and then he takes out his electrical whip.
Ooh, I'm gonna
like he gets to the shore and immediately crouches in a frog-like
hisses.
Manner. tries to get a fly out of the air.
Yep. Does all the bouncing. Also, the last thing I think I have is we see a lot of the crew, seeing as it's so fucking goddamn hot.
Yeah.
A lot of them acting in just their undershirts. Or just they're still long sleeve shirts, but just the colored shirt instead of the jacket that goes on top.
Yeah.
And I like the undershirts better.
Yeah, it's like one of you said last week, the lack of color with these uniforms is actually kind of a bummer.
Yeah, the lack of color, plus they're bulkier. And it just doesn't feel like a uniform. It feels like they're just wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
But no, I really like, because you also could see like, the red and the blue and the red a lot more, and it felt more Star Trek to me, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've never gone back to like the full just bright colored shirt of the TOS or early TNG days, or TNG
Strange
in
New
general.
Worlds might.
They're seen the Enterprise has.
They're keeping those uniforms they did for Discovery.
But from like a tactical perspective, not having a big color coding for who your important people are is probably good.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like this is Starfleet. They're really not supposed to be
so tactical.
Yeah, and like considering
Everyone's
these uniforms,
here.
Yeah, and considering these uniforms came in before the war started, it just seems weird.
I don't know. They do a lot. I've seen a lot of fucking away missions, is all I'm saying. I feel like... I don't know.
I just say it's a damn good thing that of the stuff that they managed to salvage from the crashed ship, all of them managed to get phaser rifles.
Yeah. Yeah, damn lucky.
Like, hey, should we get the food? Should we get Garrick's sewing kit? Nah, fuck it. Make sure you get a gun. Should I get a change of pants? No!
I wonder how long Nog, being a frog person, could hold his breath and go down for more things.
I mean, I think at 500 meters, there might be pressure issues.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't really know when water starts to become crushy.
It's probably not crushy, but you probably need like breathing assistance at that level.
Yeah.
Well, and they've got those
your lungs
ears.
Will just
Couldn't
be
there
compressed.
be like a lot of pressure on your eardrums or something? I feel like they've probably got big eardrums.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with frogs. They're amphibians. They're not really made for long-term underwater work. They kind of stay towards the surface.
Yeah. I think the bigger issue, though, with depth, at that depth is being the oxygen in the air in your lungs just gets compressed. That's why you get the bends.
See, now Julian, Big Johnny Superman, maybe he could have done something.
There you go.
At 500 meters, though, light has to be a problem too, right?
They'd have flashlights.
Did they bring the flashlights? No, they only brought rifles.
The rifles have flashlights on them.
I was just going to ask if the rifles had flashlights.
Well, plus, don't forget, they have those stupid cube flashlights.
Oh, no. Are those things still around?
I feel like the last time we saw a flashlight...
The hand beacon?
Yeah, it was still one of those idiot things.
Just tape it to their forehead. It's fine.
There we go.
They have no tape.
Actually, it turns out, of course, we don't know this because they just look human, but maybe one of the two red shirts there was actually from sort of a water world type species and has little gills behind their ear, and they could have done it.
Descended from lanternfish.
Yes. Pops out. Flu.
What? Fucking things are ugly.
Yeah, interestingly enough, by the end of this episode, they're actually in a better place than they were at the start.
Yeah.
They now have a subspace transmitter.
Yeah, but they don't have a ship.
Yeah, but they can call for help now.
That's true.
Of course, the last
thing is they're not entirely ship out of luck.
Hey.
Of course, the issue is last they knew the nearest ships were Dominion, so.
Yeah, but they just send somebody out in the Defiant, all cloaked and whatnot.
Yeah, true.
They knew the Centaur was nearby.
Yeah, there's radio up. By the way, that ship you were firing on, that was us.
Yeah, damn it, Charlie, or whatever your name was.
Charlie, I think, is right, isn't
Charlie,
it?
that's right.
Yeah.
Charlie bit my finger.
I felt like I knew that ship, and I was right. I looked it up. It's a kit bash from an Excelsior. So it's like an Excelsior saucer and nacelles, but no engineering section. So it's almost like a Miranda class, but made out of Excelsior parts instead of Constitution parts.
Cool.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's a fun-looking little thing.
I'm sure that ship got wrecked by the
other Jem'Hadar.
Oh, so badly.
Shipwrecked.
So
Charlie's
badly.
dead.
Yeah.
Super dead.
R.I.P.
Super cash.
But Charlie was kind of a dumb fuck anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna chase this ship into the enemy territory all by myself.
What was Charlie doing there?
I don't know.
He wasn't with the fleet. What the fuck was... Yeah. What was Charlie doing?
He's AWOL.
I mean, a ship that small is probably a scout ship, so it probably was just on a patrol.
Yeah. Charlie had just radioed back to Starfleet a couple weeks earlier, being like, hey, I found the Ketracel White facility.
Yeah. Yeah. That would actually make sense.
Would. Well, it also might make sense to wrap up. So, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you can find A Star to Steer Her By wherever fine podcasts are sold. We are on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. You can also find us on Facebook by searching for A Star to Steer Her By. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast, or you can find us on our website at sshbpodcast.com, where you'll find all kinds of neat things that we've written, including fanfics and articles about horrible admirals and terrible sweaters and bad ship design. Mostly just shit. That we don't like, not shit. You know what I mean. Anyway.
No, stuff we like, too.
I don't know. I'm just trying to... There was a common theme. I was just running with it.
Fair enough.
It's all great. Go check it out. In the meantime, I've been Caitlin. No.
No.
Sorry.
No, you have not been Caitlin.
Not yet. Sorry. Coming up next week, we'll be discussing 2 more Deep Space Nine episodes, Sons and Daughters, and Behind the Lines. Until then, I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has been Chris.
And this is Always Ames.
I don't think we had a rule of acquisition this week.
I was going to say, I'm out of rules of acquisition. Apparently...
Rule of war number 1. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Good God, y'all.